Everyone to stick with us versus Herd. If it's your first time here, hit the subscribe button. If you want to get notifications when we go live, hit the bell, tap the bell. We go live 30 minutes after market close, Monday through Friday. If you're not yet a member of our free options trading group, the link is below. Also, the link to our Discord. We post all our trades in there. We have a great community. The UVH fam is here. If you're here right now, say what up. I see, who did I see in here? Carmine, Ray Lee, FC. Linda was here, but she left. Chetan, Billy, Mark. What's going on? Greg, nice to see you guys. What's going on? Michael, Ahmed, Pajol. Hopefully, I don't know if I said that right. Mike Matthews, what's going on? Alpine Painting, repping his business. Nice. Small business owners, what up? Eric, Callum got paid. This morning, unfortunately, I learned. Actually, this morning I did good. This afternoon, I learned some lessons, and Tastyworks account got approved. Stay blessed, Chetan. Tan. What's going on? No, I'm easy. I'm good. I'm good. I got my Coke here. We're live streaming. I'm breathing. There's no worries here. There's no worries here. Richard with the $5. Thanks, man. Richard, why do you donate every day? I appreciate you, but I don't understand why. Appreciate it. Awkward kid, just set up TOS. If you're new here, say what up. We want to meet you. Join the community. Today, as you can see, I did quite a few trades here. Unfortunately, we're only up $1.50 on the day. You know, we were up about $100 on the day. Then Cat and CGC, you know, they took care of that. Coke plug. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Easy Coke doesn't pay me. I don't own any stock. I have no interest in Coke, other than drinking it. And honestly, most of what I do is for caffeine. It's bad, but it's true. Dustin, what's going on? Richard reaping what he's sowing. I think Richard gets paid every single day and passes it forward. Well, appreciate you, Richard. Brent's off work today. What's going on? Does trading options cost a commission fee? I guess it depends on your brokerage. Tastyworks is $1 per contract, no closing costs. Robinhood is free, but not really free. And Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade, they do charge E-Trade charges. You know, if you want to, you're going to want to pay commission if you want to get with a decent broker, essentially. But we have a lot of ground to cover. I did quite a few trades here, which I will show you in Tastyworks so you can see it a little better. Tastyworks is still, so I've been saying this, Jordan, what's going on? Tastyworks is buggy where it's taking my profit and loss for the day and making it the realized gain. And as you can see here, if we're looking at, like, for instance, I talked about this the other day, IBM, my profit and loss was 19. And then when I closed it out saying I lost $19 on it, in reality, I lost about $80 on IBM. And this seems to be, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but this only seems to be on Windows. On iOS and Mac, it works fine. So I did open a ticket. I've been working with Tastyworks to hopefully resolve this. And it's not the only Windows PC I had this happen on. I had this happen on my couple other Windows PCs here. So I know it's not the PC. So, you know, I don't know. Very, very strange. How's the Tastywork mobile app? It works great. Works just as well as the desktop platform. And obviously, I don't have the Android version, but Ali, what's going on? Anyways, so let's get to it. Let me condense myself here so you guys can see my trade. So there's quite a few trades here. I went into today. I started this week with not a whole lot of holdings and kind of kind of one thing before we get started here is, yesterday I was down about 150. Today I closed basically flat, up $1. Not really crazy. Nothing. I was up more until Cat and CGC took some cash out, but I've been noticing a trend here where Monday and Tuesday seem to be red days for me, and I make most of my money Wednesday through Friday. And I'm trying to see what changed the market. A couple months ago, I was having a lot of red Fridays, and I made some adjustments, and we were able to pull through that. But now I'm trading Monday and Tuesday are mostly red, and Wednesday and Friday I'm making more money. I'm closing green weeks, but I'm also losing money on Monday and Tuesday. So we got to figure that out. Maybe it's because I'm holding over the weekend. Like yesterday was definitely a premium crush from holding over the weekend. So definitely going to keep that in mind going into next week. Probably not going to hold, probably just open fresh positions on Monday and kind of see, what that does. Baron, what's going on? Yeah, it is, King Jacob. It's definitely frustrating. Luckily, I have Mac. I have my mobile app. I keep track of it. Also, I trade on Thinkorswim, which keeps track of it as well. So, those are at least working. I don't know what's up with the Windows. Banks are not reporting great, but we are green today. Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. We'll talk about that. So, JPM, I opened up a day trade here. I opened it for an hour. I bought it for 89 cents. And I closed it out for $1.08. Let's go into JPM so you guys can see here for today. So, really what I was looking at was a quick trade here. I bought the 100 call. And what I want to point out today, the option pricing was just crazy. As you guys know, when I started the first stream I did this year for Us versus Herd, I was saying that I was going to try to incorporate more day trades, and I've been working on that slowly but surely, but we're getting there. But you can kind of see like the option pricing was pretty crazy today. Obviously, JPMorgan had earnings today, and there was some crazy price swings. And like I said, I like to trade pre-earnings. I like to trade after earnings. I don't really like to trade during earnings. And you can make a lot of money trading after earnings. You can make a lot of money trading pre-earnings, which I did on Netflix, and then JPMorgan. But we left a lot of money on the table today. As you can see, I was playing these $100 calls here. So at open, let's see what time. So 5 minutes into open, I bought the 100 calls because it looked like it wanted to push up, and I paid 89 cents. And as you can see here at open, let's go into open here. At open we fluctuated from $2 down to 56 cents, and then it kind of leveled out here. So I was down a little bit on it, and I kept going like red to green on these calls. So that's why I was like, okay, well, this is a day trade. You don't want to get greedy with it. Take your 20% and get out. And, I was happy with the 20%. But if you're looking at these calls here, these calls went from 55 cents all the way to 275, back down to $1.50, up to 225, and as you can see, it kind of correlates with the price here with JPMorgan. It went all the way up to 102.47. Those 100 calls, we played it nice and tight. We had the right moves. We just left a lot of money on the table, and there's nothing wrong with leaving money on the table, but at the same time, it's very interesting to see where it went. Where this could turn into 400% within a couple hours. I did hold it for an hour through all this, and we came back up. I sold it for $1.08. So right here, when it was really struggling around, it was going up from $1.20, then back to 93 cents, then up to $1.15. I just cut it loose because it's a day trade. I was fine with losing money on it, and then after I cut it, obviously it went up about an hour later. So at 9:38, I cut it. But I know some people in the chat like FC and some other people definitely made more money than I did on that JPMorgan trade, but this was definitely a nice trade here. Nice 200, 300%. We made 20%, which you can't sneeze at 20%. Like, that's not a bad trade. You didn't lose money, but at the same time you left a lot of money on the table. Netflix this morning. So Netflix, let's go to Netflix yesterday. Yesterday, I opened a Netflix position for 80 cents. I bought the 400 calls, and then this morning I sold them for $2, up a little bit over 200%. I'm sorry, 100%, like a little bit over 100%, like 125% or so. And let's see here. Yeah, about 125%. You know, like I was saying, it was a speculation play. And if you're looking at Netflix, I bought the 400 calls. Let's look at those numbers here. The 400 calls, they actually closed at like $1.75. So you weren't really rewarded. You know, these are some great examples with option pricing today by buying options, especially when you're speculating, right? And let's go to the last 2 days here. So when you're speculating, you don't necessarily need for the call or the put to go in the money, such as this. I was trading speculation. Right now there's a lot of speculation around the stock with Netflix because they're going to have earnings on Thursday. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? And so then the market prices it accordingly is what happens. And this morning, you know, we had news. If you're looking at Netflix, you're like, why did it go up so much? Netflix announced this morning that they're going to do a price increase of 18%. They're going to go from like $11 a month per user to $13, I believe. And when they do, when companies have price increases, it's automatically, you know, the robots get turned on. Traders start to do it because they think long term. Okay, they're going to start making more money faster. They're going to make more money per year. They're going to make more money per quarter, and it kind of snowballs from there. So it's a catalyst, whether it stays up there or not. It's a catalyst for it to move higher. Obviously, nobody knew that was going to happen. I mean, these closed like basically flat. I bought it for 80 cents. It closed at like 80 cents yesterday. This morning, it went as high as 221. But as you can see here, if you're looking at the option pricing on Netflix and you're looking at the stock price on Netflix for these 400 calls, even though Netflix continued to go up, implied volatility went down, and that's why it never changed. So you didn't get paid to hold this, even though Netflix was going higher. Implied volatility went down, so it was moving closer to $400, but you weren't getting paid any more money. So definitely some interesting things on price action. Like always look at what the price is doing for the options. Look what the price is doing for the stocks, because they don't always. I mean, there's a lot of factors into option pricing than just, you know, if the stock goes up. I mean, a lot of people in here were saying that like an example like this on Netflix. Oh, you know, it's moving closer to my strike or whatever, but I'm down money. That's because the premium is getting sucked out, and it's after earning. Oh, well, this one's before earnings, but some people were trading after earnings, and the premium was getting sucked out. Caterpillar. Let's go to my original trade on this. So Caterpillar has been a dog for me. As you can see, it's been turning sideways. So on January 11th, so last Friday, I bought the 126 put, the 134 call, and it's just been struggling. So this morning I actually cut the put. For some reason, it decided to go up to 133 and then drop all the way down to 129.50. I was able to cut the put for a profit. So my goal right now is for it to go up a little bit. And what I did then is I sold the put, the 126 put, and I bought another 134 call. So now my average is like 74 cents. If we go into Caterpillar. Yeah, so my original, this was a bullish position because I thought I was going to break through, and it just, like, for some reason, it just fell through the floor. So my original position for this call was $1.17. I bought another one for 31 cents today. So I should have probably bought two, but I was just like thinking, you know, that's maybe too much risk on Caterpillar if it doesn't move. 74 cents. So hopefully we can get Caterpillar to go up a little bit here. You know, I'd like, if we could revisit like 133 area, we could get out, break even with a small profit. So, you know, I'm definitely not looking to give up 80, 90 bucks into Caterpillar right now. Josh, what's going on? Kit. Do you know anything about UGAZ or DGAZ? I don't trade them because they don't trade options. We trade the options here, so yeah. Brent, I agree with you. I haven't traded CAT in a long time, and I went in, and you know, like I said before, each stock has its own personality, and you have to understand how it trades. And sometimes it takes a couple trades to understand how it trades. You know, probably should have done it on paper, but you know, we just went in. We just went in, and that's the results. Now I'm gonna get to CGC here because it's gonna take some time, but I want to cover some other trades here real quick before we talk about CGC, because there's a couple parts and there's a couple things that I want to talk about in terms of option pricing and trades that were available on CGC today. Do you still have your GE puts, Michael? Of course. They're locked and loaded. They're saying I'm up $10 on them today. GE is, let's see here. GE is it went down. So the one thing that I noticed about GE today, when the market was ripping, it just couldn't catch it. It couldn't get up. It couldn't do anything. And as you guys can see here, we've just been hitting 9 here. So I still have 8 strike puts for January 25th. Definitely should have been a paper trade. Yeah, FC, I agree. It should have been a paper trade. But if we did, I bet you if we paper traded it, we would have made a lot of money. And then we did the next trade we went in on CAT, we would have lost. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. Alibaba. So we'll talk about CGC in a second here. Alibaba, I bought the 147 put and 155 call for $1.48 right here in the middle here. I know my trade screen is kind of cluttered up because I did quite a few trades here. If we're looking at Alibaba in the bottom right-hand corner here, let's see here. You know, I'm down $22 on it right now. It was a bullish position. I put that on at 10:57 this morning, so it was right here. It was like $1.52. It went down about, you know, a buck or so. So we're down $22 on that position. It did bounce at 150. You know, I basically want it to just revisit like the 154 area. I got a good price on it. You know, I'm not looking forward to, if it can get to like 154 tomorrow, definitely would be happy. You know, otherwise, you know, we have some downside protection. I think that if it breaks through 150 again, it'll definitely go fast. Kind of like when it gapped down. When it was last time, it was like 151. It gapped down, hit 147 before bouncing back up to 150. So, you know, we're definitely within range. But right now, if we're just going to chill here at 151, obviously we're going to lose money. So tomorrow we're going to evaluate that position because it's kind of far on the call side and it's kind of far on the put side. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say what Alibaba is going to do. I mean, Alibaba went from 150 to 154 today within a matter of 45 minutes before retreating all day long. And, you know, I thought that we caught the dip. I thought that we caught it in here and it was going to kind of return back up to 155, but it just kind of just made lower highs and sold off here. So we'll definitely see how it goes. Let's see here. Then I did a Microsoft trade. I have the 104 put and the 106 call. If you guys were watching Microsoft this morning, Microsoft along with Facebook for some reason just ripped up. Obviously, I didn't have a position on it and just kept slowly grinding up. It closed at a little bit over 105. And I was actually looking to get some negative delta. And when I put that position on, I was negative delta about by 7, so not by much. It was mostly neutral, but I was looking for some. Negative delta. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to juggle Thinkorswim and Tastyworks here. But this is the chart on Microsoft. If we go back to Tastyworks here on Microsoft, let's see. Okay, I'm down. I'm still negative delta. I was negative delta 7. Now I'm only 5. So it's slowly, as it's getting closer to 106, as you can kind of see, this will probably switch to neutral. Like 0 to positive delta as it gets closer to 106. I was looking for some more negative delta because I had like 40. I was like long about 40 to 30 delta. So I was looking to get, if we had a down move tomorrow, definitely want to have some positions to kind of balance that out. Because I was long Alibaba and I was long, that was pretty much it. So I was looking to balance out Microsoft. I was looking to balance out my Alibaba position. So put that trade on, but that one went up. We're down $13 on it, which is not a big deal, and cost $1.23. So if we run up to 106, we'll definitely start making some money. Yeah, FC. I feel that even though VIX is low for when trading BABA, even when VIX is low, it tends to ignore that. It kind of does. It kind of does what it wants. It kind of does what it wants. It's kind of like Tesla and Netflix, where you don't understand why it does things. You just kind of have to trade it. JPMorgan, I got back in on. We'll talk about that here. JPMorgan, I have the 100 put and the 102 call. This also, when I put it on, I bought it at, let's see here, when did I buy this? 1:30 p.m. Cost me 97 cents. So at 1:30, we were right here. We were retreating, so it bounced off of 101. It slipped, it dipped below 101. So I was looking for it to kind of break down, maybe looking for it to re-enter 98 area. Obviously, that got bought up. We have Bank of America reporting tomorrow, so this one will definitely be impacted. Obviously, if we open up like 98, 99, definitely going to be closing the position because as you guys know from the last bank earnings, Citigroup yesterday, if you look at Citigroup, and then today, if we gap down yesterday, Citigroup, not by a lot, but this is also a lot cheaper stock. Citigroup gapped down and then it ran 4%. JPMorgan gapped down this morning on the banks and then it ran up, a couple percent from the lows. And Bank of America reports tomorrow, so it seems like they're following a trend. So you gotta be careful with that. So when I'm profitable, whether on the call side or the put side, I'm going to be taking that money and running because it seems like the bank stocks are definitely going crazy. Anyone think PGE will be bought out before the stock crash? I don't know, man. I haven't been really trading that. Probably should have. Okay, and this leads to CGC. Which booked me $36.50 in losses today. And CGC was a, if you guys don't know, it's like a wheat, it's a wheat stock basically. But I was looking to, it looks like it, obviously it moves around a lot. It went from 28 to 44 in a week, and there's definitely opportunity there, but I've never traded it before. And so yesterday I kind of eyed it all day, and today I decided to make a couple trades. And my initial trade idea this morning was, rip down. It hit a pre-market high of 44. I thought that it could return up to 44. I just wasn't really sure because I've never traded this stock before, kind of how it moves, but I'm starting to understand how it moves based on this chart. And there's a couple trades in here we would have been profitable on. But what happened was, I was thinking it was going to return to 44 to the pre-market high, which it did. It kind of tapped out before heading lower. And I was thinking of buying the 44 calls when it was at like 41 or so. Kind of show you what that looks like on CGC. At the time, those calls were pretty cheap. It just, let's see here. Let's go to, okay. So let's go into, so we got CGC here. So at open today, those calls hit a low of like 74, 73 cents here, and then went all the way up to 220 on the spike. So it went right down here on the stock, it went to like 70, 72, 73 cents. And then when it went back up to 44, it went from 70 cents to 20. Obviously, like if I was trading this, I would have, if I would have bought like 70 or 80 on this green candle here, I would have immediately sold. I definitely wouldn't have held out for 220 or been able to, especially like a stock I don't really know a lot about, and a stock that kind of does what it wants. So I didn't do that. Unfortunately, I kind of felt some FOMO, and I kind of, obviously regret it. I did buy the 50 calls for this, and I bought the 50 calls because I thought that it was just going to continue running, and it obviously did not. I bought the 50 calls for 46 cents, and that's where we really took the biggest losses there on the 50 calls, because as you can see, it had a lower. What I was thinking of, since I was holding the 50 calls already, as you guys know, like I always try to balance things out with, like, every day I'm always balancing, I'm always tweaking, I'm always trying to do something different. And what I was thinking of, since it was taking so long to move up, I was like, okay, well, maybe since it returned to the highs, maybe we'll return to the daily lows of 41, sorry. So I was thinking of adding the 41 put as a protection. So I had the 50 call, I could add the 41 put. I got the 50 call for only $40, or how much was it? Yeah, $46. I wasn't too concerned about it. You can definitely balance it out with another trade. So I was looking at those 41 calls. I didn't pull the trigger, unfortunately. But this kind of shows you that balancing out your portfolio definitely works, and it does work for me over the long term. In this case, it would have worked out as well. So as you can see, as the stock was doing nothing, these calls, these 44 puts were going for between 50 cents and 74 cents. And then right when it dropped, it went from 65 cents all the way up to $1.80 and close at $1.44. So, what I did, kind of protection, I have kind of a wide strangle now here. I have the 37 puts that I bought for 31 cents. I'm not trying to get too large on this trade, still trying to feel this out. I definitely think there's going to be money to be made here because CGC is definitely having some good volume on some of their strikes, trading in the thousands of volume. So definitely very interesting to me. But if we kind of look toppy here, it definitely could reach 37. If it comes down to 38, I'll probably sell. 39, 38, definitely be on watch if it comes back down to this area, if we break down here tomorrow. So, we'll make a little bit of bread, but there was two opportunities there. You could have made a couple 100% twice today just by following, okay, this was the pre-market high. It retouched the pre-market high, and then it touched the daily low. And these are definitely good indicators to follow for when trading. And this one perhaps just worked out perfectly, and we totally bombed it. So it's just kind of crazy, but definitely been learning a lot this week, or at least being reminded of some of the things that maybe you forget about. ACB did great until it didn't. Mark, I have a long call on BAC because of its crypto involvement. I don't know about that, Brent. It ain't the one, Chief. I missed my put on CGC for a couple of bucks when it was highest. Yeah. But I think, Hamed, this is how it's gonna play out on CGC, Hamed. They're gonna take my money up front, but then I'm gonna get good at trading it, and it's gonna pay me for the rest of 2019. So I'll lose the $40, maybe 50 or more if it. I think I can lose about $80 on this trade altogether. If you're new here, say what up. Want to meet you. Let's see here. Locked in profit at 750. Nice free trader. Anyone trading United? United had earnings today. After close, it's pretty crazy right here. 81, close at 81. Now currently trading at 86. I don't know what. I didn't look at the report because they just reported right when we started streaming. So, but it's gonna open at 86. Definitely would be above. definitely would be above this resistance here. Looks like it's been consolidating, would be above 86. Obviously we talked about this a lot before, where the stocks have been constantly making lower highs, and this is another stock that has been doing that. But if it could break above this area, which it will if it stays at this price, but really it needs to break above 90 here to get to the 52-week highs here. Matthew, UNH ended up being profitable. Good. That was a tough one. I think you learned from UNH why we trade stocks that have more volume. What else? Saudi wanted to raise crude to 80, might raise USO, but not sure. Just felt too easy, but even a shingle would have been paid out. Yeah. What stocks you guys looking at? I went through my spiel. I went through my trades, questions, stocks you guys want to look at. I know a lot of people are looking at BAC. They have earnings tomorrow morning. Obviously, this is just following the rest of the banking market. We did talk about that earlier with JPMorgan and Citigroup. Pretty much the same story here. We're just recovering this, looking for a gap fill here. So we'll definitely see what it does in the morning. FC, Twitter ready to bust down. Let's see what the daily looks like here. Um, 30 to 33. I mean, it looks pretty. It looks pretty strong. But if you're looking at this, it looks like to be bouncing back in range here. It fell down into like 26, but looks like it came back in this range between 30 and 32, or 30 and 34. Sorry, 30 and 34. Which it's pretty big range. That's a more than a 10% range where you could definitely make money in. It's hard to say. Let's see, when does Twitter have earnings? They have earnings February 7th, so their earnings aren't that close. Ivy rank is still a little high, but it's coming down a little bit. I think if I was gonna short it, I'd want it to get closer to 34, and then if it got to 34, I would probably put on for myself on Twitter. I would probably buy. If it went to 34, I'd probably buy the 33.50 put and the 36 call for protection. Because if it does make another run, it could definitely make another run at 36, and then I could either make out with a small profit or break even. What's your plan after Netflix earnings? It depends on momentum. So after earnings, like last quarter, I traded Netflix earnings after the report came out, and I turned $100 into $400, and in like 30 minutes, it was a crazy quick trade. It was a good learning experience in terms of implied volatility and all that kind of thing. But with Netflix, you just move with momentum. So if it gaps down and it looks like it's going to recover and starts recovering, then you just move with that. If it gaps up or stays the same but heads lower, you just kind of roll with it, but you just wait for, for me personally, kind of like I traded JPMorgan today, you just go with momentum and you wait for that premium crush. If that premium crush happens, you're able to get some good deals on options, and you just kind of roll with it. So it really depends if let's say Netflix has crazy good earnings and it goes above 380, and it looks like it's going to make a push to 400, then you kind of go with that. If it bombs and goes down to 320, then maybe buy some 300 puts. USO, GT, USO. Let's see, oil still above 50. We're back on USO just in consolidation here. We need a catalyst to recover. I don't think it's going to take some time to get back up to the highs, but we need a cut in oil production. We need some catalyst to kind of move it up. Otherwise, I feel like it's just going to stay in this range, which it did here. And it's just when it came out of range, it bounced back into range. So, there was definitely opportunity here, but I think the way to trade USO is to wait till it bounces out of range and then trade it. Personally, I don't like trading stocks under $10, so I didn't really trade this. I didn't trade this dip or this bounce back. I've just been bag holding USO calls from when it was back in here. So GT. Goodyear. Wow. 36 from 36 down to 19 in a year. Do they have good volume there? Volume is not bad. Volume is not bad on these guys here. So we have obviously the puts have volume. Volume on the 20 puts had 5,000, 20 and a half. Decent volume. Calls had like no volume. I don't know what the catalyst was, Richard, on why it went down, if you know. But I mean, this was a crazy chart. What'd they have? Did they have some sort of like SEC probe or something? Because it definitely looks like one. Did they have some sort of definitely interesting 20 to 18? Let's see, what are these up? Yeah, these are up 2,000%. Yeah, the market was not expecting this move. So definitely one to keep a watch on. I don't know why it went down. I mean, apparently, obviously this stock has not been doing well for last year. I mean, it went from 36 and it's just been riding down slowly but surely, and every pop gets sold off. I mean, it looks like to be a very slow mover, where the days that it actually moves are rare. Like, this is a rare move. It only looks like it happened. Like, here's a big move here once. Here's a couple big. That's 3 times. Not really big here. I mean, that's 4 times, and then. So over the course of a year, it's only moved like this like 6-7 times. Oh, China loss. Yeah, I guess Goodyear's not doing so well. So China must have been. I don't really keep track of Goodyear's business, but it looks like Goodyear. I mean, if China really, or China and India profit loss, I guess if it really accounted for that much of their business and their bottom line, I mean, I can see why that would happen, but. From the way this chart is looking, it definitely looks like they had some sort of like SEC probe or something crazy like that. Richard, Richard, how did you find GT? Were you just scanning for stocks that are moved, like big movers for the day? Is that how you found it? AXP is already up in after hours. Doesn't look like it's up anything. AXP's flat after hours. I mean, it's up. Actually, it's not up. It's down at 97.99. It closed at 97.99. American Express, they had earnings. When do they have earnings this week? The 17th. So American Express has earnings. Yeah, later this week, Thursday. They have the same day as Netflix. So this one, I mean, obviously this one could break. This one could really break either way right here. They're just hanging out. Premiums really weren't doing anything today, but this one, I don't think I would trade American Express, mainly due to, I mean, the volume is just not there. No volume on the puts, no volume on the calls, just not happening. Yeah, I mean, maybe you have Matthew. Maybe you have some delayed data, but it's only 97.99 on Thinkorswim. It's real time data here. CIEN can be a long put. Takes about 15 days to hit low. I think we looked into that before. Looks like last earnings look pretty good. And let's see here. What do they have coming up? So their earnings are not till March because they just had it in December. It looks like. So it's reaching some new highs here. I don't know if these are traded. Are these being traded? Not really. These aren't really traded either. Yeah, this is a multi-year high for CIEN. When you get like this, you got to be careful about shorting it. Yes, yes, when things go up must come down, but that's not always true in the market, especially if they're reporting. Let's see, did they beat here? Yeah, they beat earnings. I don't know what kind of news caused them to go up so much, or is it just market momentum? They also, another thing that's dangerous here, they didn't sell off like they did like all the other stocks in December. Yes, they had good earnings. It sold off a little bit, but really just came back down to the range, and now it's ripping up even higher. So I would definitely be very careful about shorting something like this. How about Nike kicks? They will malfunction on break and break people's ankles. I don't know. Did Nike's price respond to that? No, they don't. Nike, the shareholders don't care about people's ankles. However, this does look like an interesting trade here on Nike, where we could have a potential like triple top up here. But you gotta be careful. It could be a strong run to 52-week highs. Like, I would say that earnings haven't been that good, but I mean, just so far, we've only had the bank's earnings, and the bank's earnings weren't that great, but the market seems to not care about that. And the interesting thing was at pre-market, before JPMorgan announced, the Dow was up 125, and then it went down to break even, and now we're back up to 125. So definitely interesting. Anyways, so any other tickers you guys want to look at? I sold ATMs at the money put spread on CAT once it hit 130. Expiring Friday. Nice. Yeah, it looks like, so for Caterpillar, it looks like that 130 is been bouncing if you're looking, but it's been trading in range, and I think I was in a bad rotation on Caterpillar. Looking at it, it hit sub 130. It bounced twice off that. Yesterday, it bounced all day off 130 until it took off. Then it dipped it to 127 before going to 133. So hopefully tomorrow I can exit my CAT position with, either break even with a small profit. Also here on Wednesday, it ripped down to 130, bounced back up. I mean, something about that 130 number with CAT. And the chart over the last few days doesn't look that exciting. There's been like no movement, so that's why the premiums got sucked out. The market reduced the expected move. Implied volatility went down, and went down a little bit more today, as you can see, even though it was red. Those self-lacing shoes are expensive. I don't think Nike expects them to be a shoe. Yeah, I think that was just for the internet, some viral marketing. Really. T and Disney have been flat. I know that some people have been making some money off Disney. I mean, small profits, but they've been making money on Disney. But yeah, it's been flat. But obviously, like after a run like this, after a run from 100 to 111, all these charts are kind of looking the same, where people are kind of saying, was that enough? And now it dipped below, but now it's back in the range that it was before. So before it was bouncing off this 111 and going as high as like 120 area. Now we'll see if it can hold above 111. Obviously it dipped down a little bit today on Disney, but if it can hold above 111, looks like chances are we'll be seeing 120 pretty soon. If not, then 104, 105 area. Disney's a kind of stock you just got to be patient on. AT&T I don't really trade just because it's just like so slow. I mean, I've talked about this before, where their stock hasn't gone anywhere in 5 years. And the stock is the same price it was 5 years ago. So Richard got paid twice off CAT today. You got the vision for that stock, man. Like I said, each stock has its own personality. Once you learn how to trade it, I mean, this in hindsight, this looks like an easy chart now, but not really trading it, it's difficult. It's definitely difficult, especially like, why did it go? Yes, you can see why it bounced off 130 here, but like, why did it go to 127 then to 133, and then it went down to 130? You'd understand that. Went down to gap down again, 130, went to 132. gapped down again at 130, went up to 132. So that was predictable. But then you had today where we didn't gap down, it gapped up, but then totally reversed down to 130 and then stayed there and then broke the trend. You know, why did it do that? I mean, obviously it does what it wants to do, but it's definitely interesting. And meanwhile, like this was staying the same and the market was ripping up and Caterpillar couldn't close green. I'm glad you've gained a lot more subscribers. Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. We just hit over 4,700 subscribers. Definitely appreciate you, King Jacob. And we're hitting, like, people are like 60 to 70 people are watching the stream, which is just insane. I mean, it used to only be like 3 people, and nobody was talking to me, and that's why the stream was only like 10 minutes. Oh, Richard rebalanced yesterday. Okay, so I think the premium crush was just too much for Monday. We went in too hot. Luckily, I only had like two positions on. I had IBM, I had Caterpillar. We just came in too hot, and then went nuts. Yeah, I mean, Ray Lee. I mean, we're over 1,000 members on our Facebook group. We got Discord. What do we got on Discord here? Discord is. Oh, we just crossed 300. We're at 301. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Anyways, if you've been enjoying the content so far, hit the like button. We're at 46 minutes, so we got a couple minutes left. If you guys want to drop any tickets, if you have any questions, otherwise we're going to dip out. Tilray, one thing that I did want to talk about was Tilray today. If you guys weren't aware, if you are trading the wheat stocks, I don't trade Tilray really, and mainly because of the option pricing is just like outrageous on Tilray. It's just like ridiculous. I think CGC is option pricing is better. Obviously, it's cheaper, but now that gap is getting a little bit closer. But if you're looking at it, if you didn't know why it went down today, 17%, and it may go down more, except for they make these options pretty fat. I mean, you could definitely make some money if you buy some puts here, even though it's really expensive. You got to the lockout period for the shares. So when you have an IPO, if you guys don't know this, if you have an IPO, the shareholders that bought into the business before the IPO, there's a lockout period that they said they can't sell their shares until after the lockout period because they don't want all those people to tank the stock price on day one or the first month it comes out. So there's a lockout period. So these people, it IPO'd at like $20, went all the way to 300, and now it's like 82. So these people couldn't touch the stock. They had stock. They couldn't touch. They saw their investment go from, they actually, I don't know what they bought in. They probably bought in like $1 a share, $5 a share. And now it's $20 a share on the public market when they IPO. And then it went up to 300. They had to watch that. And today was the first day that the lockout period expired, and it looks like they're taking some profits. Obviously, in the long run, it hasn't broke below 60. It hasn't broke below like 65, 63 in a long time. Last time it was that price was back in August, so it looks to be leveled out here, but it's going to definitely be interesting to see if those people take their profits. If you bought it at $5 a share, $3 a share, and now it's $80, I mean, even if you believe in the company, what would you do? Especially like a company like Tilray. I mean, it could go up to 300 again, but it also could go back down to 20 or less, and they could not make money and file bankruptcy. Kind of like, it's kind of like Blue Apron, Blue Apron. Not as extreme because it IPO'd in 2017 in the best market we've ever had. Was it 2017? Yeah. IPO went up to 11. Now it's $1.51. It was like, it was pennies a couple days ago. I don't know what the catalyst was here, but you have to be above $1 if you don't want to get delisted. You know, ask Sears how that worked out. Don't worry, Richard. We're gonna get paid. We're gonna get paid. Me and FC are gonna get paid. Like I said, I make most of my money last couple of weeks, Wednesday through Friday, so we're gonna make it. Brent, I appreciate it, man. Thanks, Kit. What about Capital One or other credit card company stocks? I don't think Cap One really has any volume. I don't really trade. Does anyone know the ticker for Capital One? I don't know. WFC, they had earnings as well. Was it this morning, I think? Except the one thing I think is different between the Wells Fargo and the other bank stocks is that Wells Fargo has been in the hot seat, and they've been having a very hard time with litigation. They're having a hard time with all that stuff. And, you know, at the end of the day, Wells Fargo rips off their customers, you know, and their stock price obviously reflects that. You know, it's 66, now it's 47, hit 43, and they couldn't, you know, it closed down. You know, Jamie Dimon of CEO of JPMorgan said that if the government shutdown is gonna impact, you know, the growth. Also, because the market was so bad in December, they experienced less people trading. Less people were buying stock, less people were trading, which is kind of weird. I mean, if they were trading options, they were making money, but if they were trading stock and you're buying stock, obviously, you know, it was the worst December since 1929. So, I think Wells Fargo is, the price reflects what they're doing internally. Capital One, COF, thanks FC. Yeah, I mean, Capital One looks like the rest of the market in terms of the balance. The only thing, this is why we don't trade them, is just because the volume is really bad. I mean, these some strikes just have single digits. None of them are over 100 even. This one, the 85 calls got 183, but you know, the ask is 4, the bid is 0. You know, typically not something that you want to trade unless you want to lose all your money. King Jacob, we are Chi-Town, man, Chi-Town. Visa does trade though. Visa does trade. There's some volume there on the calls and the puts. You know, Visa does trade. However, the one thing that I would say about Visa is these lower highs. You know, did tap out 145, and then if this is a high here at 140, it's going to go lower. Obviously, they got earnings January 30th, so you know we definitely have, like I said, a very important earnings season here for the market. You know, but at the same time, it's kind of interesting that like the banks didn't report great earnings or very strong earnings, and they even missed earnings, but they went up anyways, which I don't really know what that means. And people that are trading earnings are definitely getting confused because they were expecting, you know, they missed, they went down. You know, government shutdown, outlook isn't good, but they go up anyways. So that's why I trade pre-earnings and after earnings. That's why I rarely trade. I mean, I think last quarter I held through one earnings, and the only time that I usually hold through earnings is because I have to. If Netflix report bad earnings, I wonder if the tech market will crash. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll crash the whole tech market, but it definitely tends to follow. I mean, if you looked at Netflix this morning, and you look at Facebook, and you look at Microsoft this morning here, you know, once that news came out, like these stocks just ripped at open. So definitely interesting. GS, I'll be looking at a trade in there after earnings. GS has been one of the weaker ones. has not recovered. It's dropped a lot and has not recovered as much. So I'm going to be trading GS after earnings, kind of like I did with JPMorgan. We made some money there. We put another JPMorgan trade on near the end of the day, so we'll definitely see if we can make some money on GS. GS is definitely a mover. I just need to get that premium crush going. Richard. Wow. I looked this morning at CMG and it was a 501. I haven't looked at it. I don't trade CMG a lot, mainly because of the liquidity in the options, but I mean, it's an insane mover. I mean, in the last, since December 26th, so since the day after Christmas, we went up over 100 points, 135 points here, 134 points. As long as they don't get anybody sick, I think they're good. And their earnings have been better as well, as you guys can see here from this earnings here really was the catalyst to kind of push them higher when they started to break out a range. They went from 342 up to 427. They did gap down here, or they did gap up and then gap down here on this earnings here, but maintain a range. And then when the market sold off, it just kind of rebalanced. But this one's definitely a crazy one where it has a lot of red days, a lot of green days in a row. Definitely not anywhere near 52-week highs yet, because we got a little bit of ways to go. So it's got to get above 530, but capped out here in let's see, what year is this? 2016. Let's go to 5 years ago. They were 700, I believe, at one point. Yeah. So their all-time high is 758. So on this chart, you're going to have to trade more of a longer-term chart. You obviously got to look out for right here in August, where it was at like 530, and then also back in here, back in March of 2015, where it went all the way at 530 before heading lower. So I think right now I would definitely, this is definitely a good trade, because I like to trade support and resistances a lot. And right now it's coming up on 530. If we come up with the 530, maybe there's going to be a trade in there. I definitely, in 2017, I sold a lot of I sold a lot of vertical spreads for Chipotle, and it was a great stock to trade. But it's definitely a mover. You just gotta have the stomach for it. All right, we got 3 minutes left in here. If the video was of value to you, hit the like button. Definitely appreciate everyone that was here. Glad a lot of you guys made some money today. I got out break even, which not the best thing, but not the worst thing either. Jimothy, pretty much just options trading here. Stock I hold long term on other accounts, but we don't really cover stock trading, mostly just options trading. Welcome to the DVH fam. Wonder if Bezos X will sell. And Brent, she said, well, obviously you can't follow what the news says all the time, but apparently she wants to keep growing the family fortune, which makes sense. I mean, Amazon's a growing company. If she just holds stock for the long run, and I mean, how much money do you need really to live? I mean, even if she sold off $1 billion a year, she'd have enough stock to last her multiple lifetimes. And if it keeps growing, like if Amazon right now is what's Amazon, 1,600 something? Yeah, and it goes to 3,000. She definitely won. If we're going back on 10 years here, we're going back to 10 years. 10 years ago, Amazon's stock price was low 200s and chilled there for a while, and really started making money in 2016, 2015, and obviously 2017 was a great year for Amazon. What can I watch to learn all about this? I don't know the terminology. All I know is cryptocurrency scam. You can stick around. I know you can go, if you want to learn like terminology, you can go over to Tasty Trade. They got a glossary you can look up. We're launching some tools as well for that. So stick around. You'll definitely pick up a few things. Connect. Go to our Discord. Go to our Facebook group. Connect with people. They'll help you along the way. But we're at an hour. I definitely appreciate you guys. You guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully we can close out the rest of the week green. Stay safe, stay green.